The second part of Solomon, the Temple of Solomon the King, is called the Miser. I would assume it describes the transformance of religion from the vast riches of pagan past to the miser's mindset of Puritanism. The Miser. God. God, what a treasure house of wealth lies buried in that word. What a mine of precious stones. Ptah, father of the beginnings, who created the sun and the moon, Nuit, blue starry lady of the heaven, mistress and mother of the god, Enki, lord of the deep, Ishtar, O thou who art set in the sky as a jewel circlet of moonstone, Brahma the golden, Vishnu the sombre, and Shiva the crimson, lapped in seas of blood. Everywhere do we find thee, and thou, one and awful eidolon, who is Amorzut, once didst rule the sun-scorched plains of Euphrates, and as Odin the icy waves in the shrieking winds around the frozen halls of the north. Everywhere, everywhere. And yet thou art again God, nameless to the elect, or thou art as vast inscrutable pleroma built into the nothingness of our imagination. And to the little ones, the children who play with the units of existence, but a myriad named doll, a cubit high and a little thing to play with, or else an ancient bearded father, with hair as white as wool and eyes like flame of fire, whose voice is as the sound of many waters, and whose right hand tremble the 7 stars of heaven, and out of whose mouth flashes forth a flaming sword of fire. There dost thou sit counting the orbs of space and the souls of man, and we tremble before thee, worshipping, glorifying, supplicating, beseeching. Last perchance thou castest back into the furnace of destruction, and placest not among the gold and silver of thy treasury. True, thou hast been the great miser of the worlds, and the balances of thy treasure house have weighed out heaven and hell. Thou hast amassed around thee the spoil of the years and the plunder of space and time. All is thine, and we own not even the breath of our nostrils, for it is but given us on the usury of our lives. Still, from the counting houses of the heaven, thou hast endowed us with a spirit of grandeur, an imagination of the vastness of being. Thou hast taken us out of ourselves, and have counted with thee the starry hosts of the night, and unbraided the tangled tresses of the comets in the field and space. We've walked with thee at Mamre, and talked with thee in Eden, and listened to thy voice from out of the midst of the whirlwind. And at times thou hast been a father unto us, a joy strong as a mighty draught of ancient wine, and we have welcomed thee. But thy servants, those self-seeking priestly assurers, see how they have blighted the hearts of man, and massed the treasures of the soul into the hands of the few, and piled up the coffers of the church. How they racked from us the very emblems of joy, putting out our eyes with the hot irons of extortion, till every pound of human flesh was soaked as a thirsty sponge in a well of blood, and life became a hell. And men and women went singing, robed in the sun beneath or painted with flames and devils to the stake, to seek in the fire of the gods of their forefathers that stern judge who with sworded hand was once wont to read out the names of the living from the book of life, and exalt the humble on the golden throne of tyrants. Yet in these days of crucifix, of skull and candle, these ages of auto da fe and in pace, these ages when the tongue jabbered madness and the brain reeled in the delirium, and the bones were split asunder and the flesh was crushed to pulp, was there still in the darkness a glamour of truth, and as great as a scarlet sunset seen through the memory of years. Life was a shroud of all horror, yet it was life. Life in the awful hideous grandeur of gloom, until death severed the dull red thread with a crooked sword of cruel flame. And love, a wild mad ecstasy, broken winged, fluttering before the eyeless sockets of evil, and the souls of men were bought and sold and bartered for, till heaven became a bauble for the rich, and hell a debtor's dungeon for the poor. Yet amongst those rotting bones, in the oubliette, and in those purple palaces of papal lust, hovered that spirit of life, like a golden flame rolled in a cloud of smoke over the dark altar of decay. Listen, have you got a religion? Are you saved? Do you love Jesus? Brother, God can save you. Jesus is the sinner's friend. Rest your head on Jesus, dear, dear Jesus. Curse till thunder shake the stars. Curse till this blasphemy is cursed from their face of heaven. Curse till the hissing name of Jesus, which writhes like a snake in a snare, is driven from the kingdom of faith. Once Eloi, Eloi lama sabachthani echoed through the gloom from the cross of agony. Now Jerry McAuley, that man of God, ill-clothed in cheap leads, shoddy, bobbing in a tin Bethel bellows, "Do you love Jesus?" And talks of that mystic son of him who sets forth the sun and the moon and the hosts of heaven, as if he were the first cousin to Mistress Booth and to Aunt Sally himself. Once man in the magic land of mystery sought the elixir and the balsam of life. Now he sees the spiritual milk for American babes drawn from the breasts of both testaments. Once man in his frenzy, drunken on the wine of Yahus, would cry to the moon from the ruined summit of some temple of Zagreus, "Eo, Evo, Eho, Eo, Evo, he." But now instead, although I was quite full of drink, I knew that God's work had begun in me, and it was not going to be wasted. Thus in the name of God belched forth in beer and bestial blasphemy. Who would not rather be a Saint Bezerian, who spent 40 days and nights in a thorn bush, or a Saint Francis picking lice from his sheepskin and praising God for the honor and glory of wearing such celestial pearls in his habit, than become smug, well-oiled evangelical Christian, gentleman walking to church, to dear Jesus on a Sabbath morning with prayer book, Bible and umbrella, and a 3-penny bit in his glove?